Three outstanding ladies, all from different backgrounds, different marketplaces, and they're going to share what they do in their business, what they've done in their business, right, in the past, what they're currently doing, and what they're looking forward to moving forward in the future, 25, 26. You guys are probably thinking about 27 and 28 already, right? Making it work. So I appreciate all of you ladies being here. Congratulations on your hard work. Ready to get started? All right, very good. And by the way, ladies and gents in the crowd here, we're going to do maybe 10 minutes of Q&A at the end. So if you can write your questions and hold them to the end while the ladies, talk about their experiences as we go through this, we'd appreciate that very much. All right. So Monica, I'd like to start with you because you're closest to me, right? Tell them who you are, what market you serve, what office, how long in the business, all that good stuff. Give them the intro.
Okay. I started in 1994, before some of you were born. And I've been doing this, I'm going on my 31st year. And I think that the most important thing to remember is that reputation matters and integrity matters. People know your name before they know your face. So I've always kind of thought of myself as a helper more than somebody that's going to bring anything to the table other than helping.
31 years in business, and you're out of Hacienda Heights office. What marketplace do you serve?
Really, it's changed over the years. I used to deal a lot with first-time buyers, and then as those buyers got ready to sell, they called me back. My business is mostly referral based at this point. I'm helping my clients' children purchase their homes now. So it's really all over the place.
Safe to say that you go wherever your clients ask you.
Yes,
yeah.
I have a listing in Mammoth right now.
I have a list.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a listing in Apple Valley.
Okay.
And I'm all over the place. Oh, and one in Torres. So
you're all over the map here. Good for you, Monica. Thanks for sharing. JoAnna.
Yes.
How long in the business? Marketplace do you serve? Give them the intro. Let them know who you are.
So first off, thank you guys for having me. My name is JoAnna Nassar. I'm based out of the Victorville office up in the high desert. I've been with Berkshire Hathaway for about 9 years now. This is the one and only company that I have been with. And my main area that I serve is the high desert, but I also serve majority of Southern California. I will drive about 2 to 3 hour radius from where I'm at. So I've sold properties in San Diego, Los Angeles, Barstow. I pretty much travel.
We need to get you a helicopter.
Yeah.
That's what I think we need to do. Luis comes back and be like, yo, let's go. Coach Erika, we know each other very well. We're in the same office. Thanks for being here today. Let them know who you are, how long you've been in the business, marketplace you serve, things like that.
Good morning. I'm Erika Baños-Soria. I have been in the business since early 2000s. I got licensed in 2007. I was part-time then. I switched over to full-time 2015. I was raising my kids, going to school, doing all that. So although I was in the market part-time, I still got a lot of experience doing short sales, REOs, all that. And then, COVID market. And I'm out of the downtown LA office, and I service, just like these ladies, I go all over the place as well. But primarily I live in Glendora, grew up in San Gabriel Valley. So I do Pasadena to about Rialto, typically. It's my typical area.
The foothill area is right there, right? You queen of the foothills. I like that. So that's great. So what we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about how the business runs. And we know we have some new agents listening in. We have some veteran agents as well. I want to start with some tips for new agents, okay? Because there's a lot of people who enter this business. And I think when we do our top agent panels, new agents are really looking at the panelists and hoping to get some insight as to what to do. So Erika, we just left with you. We're going to continue on with you, okay? As a brand new agent, what do you think some of the toughest obstacles were? Because you started part-time and then you were part-time for about 7 years before you transitioned. How did that work out for you? What's some tips for a new agent that maybe you can help them avoid?
Well, I will say my biggest challenge was myself. So just getting over the fear of doing all the prospecting. What you name it, like I was scared to do it. I did not want to cold call. I did not want to door knock. I was just, yeah, I was myself. I was scared to do the work. I was, just scared of the rejection, like so many people are. So that was my biggest obstacle was myself.
What do you think helped you get over that hump? Because you obviously wouldn't be here at the panel if you were so scared of talking to people.
Right. So I went to Tom Ferry's summit a long time ago in Las Vegas, and that really changed everything for me. I connected with a couple of agents. I joined coaching, and that really forced me to come out of my shell because I was then being surrounded by agents who were doing really well and I wanted to do well. There was a lot of accountability. I needed to check in, weekly or bi-weekly. And I didn't want to show up with 0 on my numbers. So I was partnered with a couple of agents who are now really close friend of mine in the Bay Area. And we were challenged on doing a certain number of conversations per day. Everyone has their own strategy that works for them. So some people are like fear-based. So in our contest, she had to eat cat food if she didn't make the conversations. That was what worked for her. I was gonna have to wear a tiara and a sash that said like #1 realtor or something, and like go out in public because that was like what I didn't want to do. So that's how I kind of overcame the fear and started prospecting.
It's like prospect or eat cat food.
Yes. Yeah.
And a tiara.
Yeah. Well, no, I was not going to eat the cat food. That's what she chose for herself.
Oh,
that was her, like for her. Yeah. I was wearing the tiara and the sash.
I'm like, she has to eat cat food.
I was not
Bring a
eating the cat food.
Like,
No. No.
That's one way to get motivated, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, either you're gonna make these calls or you're gonna eat a can of cat food.
Right.
I love that.
No.
Nice one. No way, right? So that's one way to get over fear of rejection.
Yes.
All right. So did you ever have to wear that tiara?
I didn't.
No?
I
You
may.
should. You should. You're #1 real estate agent, right? She does that. Very cool. Thank you for sharing. JoAnna, same thing for you. As a new agent,
Mhm.
you had challenges. We all do, right? Challenges as new agents, as veteran agents, we have challenges. What were some of the biggest challenges and obstacles you had? And then maybe you had that aha moment where you were like, I get it. What was it?
So I think the biggest challenge for me when I first started is I started as a very young agent. I got licensed at 21. So automatically people, look at you and assume, hey, you're a little young for being in this business. So I think it just kind of came with trial and error. I think it just came with putting myself out there, educating myself, learning. I did a lot of open houses as a new agent. I did a lot of cold calling, and just talking with people and, building that rapport, showing them what I have to offer. I think that kind of helped me build my confidence in the business and work my way up.
So you got a lot of maybe pushback because you entered the business at a young age.
Correct.
What I'm hearing is you got yourself educated
Yes.
and just pushed past that.
Correct.
Right? Like, hey, I know my stuff. Forget about how young I am or how old I am, right?
I was able to figure it out within the drive, of course, being young and not knowing anything about the business. Fear is absolutely the biggest thing, not knowing what to say, fear of rejection, whatever it is. But it's just a matter of navigating through that, making it sound seamlessly, and just showing your clients that, you're going to be there for them no matter what.
Commitment to the business.
Correct.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing that. Monica, same question. 31 years ago, you were a brand new agent, fresh out of licensing school, okay? You're working by referral only right now, and that's great because you had time in the business. But back then, you had challenges, you had problems, you had obstacles. What would you say to a new agent who asks you, hey, what were your biggest obstacles and how'd you get over it?
Well, for me, I had a terrible realtor representing the sale of my condo before I became a realtor. So she was just not what I thought a realtor would do. Support my dream, my goal, try to get me into the next house as soon as she said she was going to do it. and a lot of promises that were not kept. So when I came into the business, I thought, okay, I'm gonna do everything I can not to be that way. So the biggest obstacles, like JoAnna says, is just education. I guess I needed to learn everything about the business, and I attended seminars. I listened to tapes back then. And tapes.
That's play, right?
Press play and pause and rewind and
Pause,
yeah,
rewind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Ferry was one of the big people that the seminars that I attended. And yeah, I mean, it's just educate yourself, because people are looking to you for answers, and just become the best realtor you can be,
Do you think that was part of your motivation to get into the business, having such a bad experience with that agent who helped you buy and sell? Or were you already kind of in the line of train of thought where you were going to get your license and go into this business?
No, actually, I got my license just because I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was bored just being home, not doing anything. So yeah, on my way to Price Club, it was before Costco. On my way to Price Club, I saw a sign that said free real estate courses. And that's how I got in the business. But the motivation behind it was not to be the terrible agent that I had.
Yeah.
So,
They worked at Bob Smith Realtors, right?
no.
BS Real Estate. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. On that topic, as a new agent, you're getting yourself educated, you're learning to be better than the agents that you had experienced. What were some of the things that as a new agent, okay, that you invested in that really weren't worth your time? And what are some of the things that were totally worth the money? You got a big ROI on that. Can you share that with the group?
Yes, I bought, and I'm sorry because I know a lot of people do this, but I bought the pads, the little, notepads.
Notepads, yeah.
And I passed them out, and I didn't get one listing out of those. And I was disappointed because that's what they tell you to do. Go pass out pads and become, give them something, I guess,
How many pads do you think you passed out in the neighborhood?
I don't know, maybe 300.
300?
Yeah. But I didn't, it was part of the farming packet. It was pads and, the flyers and all of that. I think just listed, just sold, are the best things that you can do, even to this day.
You're talking postcards or?
Postcards, phone calls, circle prospecting, whatever it is, just, I would say focus to the new agents. I would say focus on an area and work it and contact them at least 3 times a month. And in 6 months, probably we'll get a list.
So
Agreed? Yeah.
just to be clear, we're doing the pads, right? As part of your geographic farming. You didn't get anything off that, but you were getting stuff as you put out postcards. Same area?
No, that's the difference. One area I was doing the pads, another area I was doing just listed. And another area I was not giving them anything, just door knock. And the one that worked the best was just listed and just sold in the neighborhood, even if they weren't my listings. I would just give them information, and that worked back then. Oh,
Gotcha.
it still works today.
Yeah, people still want to talk about real estate sales in their neighborhood. Thanks for sharing that one. JoAnna, how about yourself? As a new agent, go back 8 years, okay? What were some of the things you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I spent money on that? And on the flip side, where were you like, I should have spent money on this sooner? Give us the 2 scenarios. What do you think?
So in the beginning, when I was a new agent, Realtor.com was a popular thing. So we were paying for Realtor.com leads, or my mentor was at the time. So I did a lot of cold calling. I did a lot of cold calling to these Realtor.com leads, and a lot of the times they wouldn't answer. And he just kept telling me, my manager, Daniel Pabon, by the way, he just kept telling me, keep calling, keep calling. Finally, this one lead, I ended up calling them about 7 or 8 times. Finally, on that 8th time I called him, he answered. And guess what? It turned into a listing. It turned into a listing and he ended up wanting to buy as well. So it was just
Double deal.
persistence,
Yeah.
following up. Hey, he didn't answer the first 6 times. I called him in the morning, called him in the evening, called him in, different times of the day, call, text, email, whatever it is, just follow up with them. And eventually you'll get through. So I think Realtor.com was a great thing to invest in. I'm not sure if it's super popular anymore. But what's really good right now is OpCity, Sphere of Influence, things like that.
Yeah. So you put some money into online leads, but not just putting money into it, you were consistent with calling it.
Follow up.
I mean, how many 8 times you gotta call the same lead just to have them pick up, right? Is it fair to say that some of us as agents, myself included, have made maybe 4 calls, like, I'm gonna move on? We went 8 times.
And this was like over 6 weeks.
Yeah, consistent follow-up.
Yep,
So it paid off for you in the end.
it
Do
did.
you think if you weren't consistent with that, that would have been a waste of money?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So buying leads was great for you.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely resourceful, especially if you're newer in the business. You need something to give you trial and error. So either buy leads, do open houses, find some sort of marketing that fits best for
I
you.
love open houses. Now, on the
Yes.
flip side, what was something that you were like, man, I wish I never invested in this. This was just not it for me, or it didn't pan out the way, it was promised.
There's a lot of online lead sources that overpromise, or they have these high dollar monthly costs. It's like a mortgage payment. And it's like, there's so many other things that you can do to get business, promoting yourself, free, but there's a lot. Just be careful, just do your research and just try to find a reputable lead source. That's what it comes to.
So kind of like going with Realtor.com or some of the big names to buy leads is okay, but some of the smaller names,
Yes,
kind of a little dangerous.
correct.
Yeah,
You need to be careful. Definitely do your research.
I've been there.
I
I got nothing back on some of those.
There you go.
Kind of wasting money.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing that, though. That's good. Erika, same question. As a new agent, your first 7 years you were part-time. What were some of the things that you invested in dollar-wise that really paid good ROI? On the flip side, what are some of the things that were just a wash for you and you want to have our new agents maybe stay away from, or at least, think about it twice before they invest?
So one of the biggest things that I invested in was online leads. And I know everybody has different experiences, and they're always changing the program. So keep that in mind. But Realtor.com was terrible for me. They were sending me mobile home leads, and I don't service mobile homes. And I called them and they were like, that's what you get. So, and they wouldn't they wouldn't let me out of my contract. It was a mess. And I also did Zillow back then. And that was also there was like 4 agents that got the same lead. And as much as I would like speed to lead, it was just wild. So back then, I definitely would not recommend anyone do those. And, still do your research on all online leads. What did work for me, like I mentioned previously, was investing in myself. So the coaching, conferences, events, paying for the flight to go to conferences, always eating with other agents, going to mastermind groups, always learning and investing in myself and the knowledge, new tools.
Yeah. So online leads worked for you in the high desert, but it didn't work for you in the foothills.
Right.
Difference, right? It's a big difference. And that's something that people need to really think about. When you're buying online leads, in some places they'll say this person sold 200 houses, but they're in the middle of Kansas or something, right? We're in a really competitive market here. So just be aware that the stories they'll sell you are different depending on the areas, right? So that's good to know. Now, Erika, you did say it took you about 7 years to transition, right, into full-time. What was that turning point for you where you were like, okay, I'm ready to take that leap into full-time real estate. I'm going all in, no more part-time. Where did that happen for you?
So it wasn't like, I know for some agents, like a financial thing, but it wasn't for me. For me, it was just that I was going to school. My kids were little. So I graduated from Cal Poly in 2014. So I made the jump in 2015 to be full-time, so I was no longer in school. You know, my kids were a little bit older, so it wasn't like a financial thing for me at the time.
So timing for
Yes,
you,
yeah.
school, family, you have
Yes.
more time on your hands.
Yes.
Yeah, so not financial, okay?
Yeah.
Understood. JoAnna, same thing. You were 8 years ago, same company. Did you start off part-time or you just full-time right from the get-go?
I did start off as a full-time agent from the beginning. I think being full-time, it's hard, in my opinion, to do this business part-time. However, if you are a part-time agent in the beginning, I would say use your current job as leverage. Try to talk with them about real estate, that way you can slowly transition into the full-time real estate because this business is very lucrative. And it is what you make it. So the work that you put in is, the results that you'll end up seeing overall.
Gotcha. Full-time right off the bat. A little scary for some people,
Yes,
right? Especially when,
absolutely.
there's no salary,
Nope.
there's no hourly. Does Lewis have a clock in, clock out here? There's no machine, maybe you're clocking in and clocking out, Dennis, but the rest of us aren't. Right? I always tell new agents that's the scary part of the business. You can make your own schedule, but then you can also make your own schedule,
Mhm.
right? Like you're in charge of your time, which is great, but you're in charge of your time. You got to make sure you time block it properly. Monica, same thing for you. 31 years ago, okay, you were at home. You're like, hey, I'm going to get my license. I'm going to start this because I had a bad experience with one bad agent, and I'm going to do it better. Did you start off as part-time, or did you jump in full-time right away?
At that time, I was married, so I jumped in full-time, because I did have the support. But God works in mysterious ways, and he knew that that was what I needed to do. So yeah, I was full-time from the get-go.
Yeah.
I think investing, in things that or communities that is the best thing to do. I don't know that I would go outside of my area.
If your area is so wide,
Well, now
I'm
it
in
is.
to the south.
Now it is. Yeah, but I went to a training. I think his last name is Droz, and he was the #1 Century 21 agent in the 80s. And what he did is he told us that if you take 900 homes and farm them 3 times a month, and that's a lot because you got a door knock and you're walking all the time. In 6 months, you'll get a listing. And in a year and a half, I believe it was, you'll be the go-to agent in that neighborhood. To me, with all the technology, AI, and all of that, people want connection. People want information. And yes, they can get it, online, but nothing replaces face-to-face. Nothing replaces trust and integrity. So just, if you say you're going to do something, do it, and don't flake out.
The Floyd Wickman adage is, do what you say you're going to do, sometimes more, just never less. How hard is that, right? Keep your commitment to yourself. Now, since we're talking about like still new agent stuff, right? Now we're all established now. We got past the kind of the fears, your obstacles. You guys are in growth mode. You're full-time, you're full-time at this point. Did you incorporate your business? Because this is a business, right? Not a job, not a career. This is a business. You got to run it like a business. Are we incorporated? Are we 1099s?
I am. I incorporated in 2021, and I'm very thankful that I did because that was my best year yet. I closed 47 transactions.
Wow. 47.
Very thankful to have done.
That's amazing. There's no time. Where's the helicopter, Dennis? That's amazing. Okay,
She's got it.
so you incorporated your business about 4 years ago. Coach Erika.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like to save money. I like to keep my money.
Oh, say that louder. Say it louder.
I like to keep my money.
When you incorporate your business, you're saving about 20% on taxes right off the bat, right? You got to do the business part of it, but that makes sense. So at what stage did you ladies incorporate? Was it right away? Was it after your tax advisor said, hey, we need to save some money here, you should really consider, making this an entity. What was it for you ladies?
My advice would be from my tax preparer is it's best for anyone to incorporate if you're consistently making at least 75,000 to 100,000 a year. Anything less than that, it just starts to get tricky. But that would be my advice to agents.
Okay.
My CPA said it's time.
It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monica?
seminars, yeah.
Somebody.
Tax seminars, they tell you to do that, and like JoAnna said, 75 or more, you should incorporate.
Yeah. Saves a lot of money in taxes. A little bit more paperwork,
Correct.
but I love how you said it, Coach. You want to save your money. That's your money.
I worked
Give
hard
it-
for it.
Yeah, I
I
know.
want to just give it away.
There's no law that says you need to pay the IRS more than you need to, right? There's no law that says that. So good for you ladies incorporating your business. And to new agents and veteran agents out there, if you're doing, 60,000 or more consistently, you should probably talk to your CPA or your tax advisor and get yourself incorporated. We're trying to help you make money and also save money, right? So that's a good little tip. Thank you, ladies, for doing that. I knew that you would, that otherwise you guys might not be up here. You guys are super smart and talented. Let's talk about this now. Whoever wants to go first. They want to know about your typical work day. Typical, I mean, in this business, it's all over the place, right? But we hope that you have some sort of plan, right? And aren't just winging it every day. What does that look like for you ladies?
I have a morning routine and I'm pretty strict on my morning routine. I don't, how in detail do you want me to go?
As detailed as you want. They don't need to hear it. This is the work. When you wake up,
Yeah.
what happens?
I wake up about 5:17 and I drink water immediately. I make my bed right away. And I start my tea kettle and I bring out my journal. I have tea and I do affirmations, gratitude. I do journaling. I check my schedule for the day. And then I read for about 15 minutes. And then I get a workout in. And I like to do all of this before anybody else is really awake, before escrow is going to call, or lenders or clients or whatnot. So the morning's really important for me. We have a group me accountability group within our office. So I do my daily check-in. And there I state my goals for the day. And then I get ready. Usually we have some meetings in the morning, or I do admin work, lunch, and then I do my prospecting for myself in the afternoon. I know a lot of people like to prospect in the morning, but it works out better for me because sometimes I'm door knocking. So, and evenings, late afternoon, evening is when I find that I get most conversations. So I do my prospecting later. And then, if I have any appointments, I try to do them in the afternoon. But I work around my clients' schedules, so that does fluctuate. So if a client can only see something in the morning, then I'm going to switch it around and do whatever I had in the morning later, because I'm not going to be so rigid on my schedule. Like, I'm in the business to sell properties. So I've got to do, if I've got a seller who can only get us in at a certain time, then I've got to move things around. So I'm flexible, but I do try to, as best as I can, move it to somewhere else so that I'm not missing the most important parts, like the prospecting.
Time blocking is probably
yes.
key for you, right?
Yeah.
Are you using Post-its to time block, or are you using your digital
My
calendar?
calendar. Yeah. And I also use a paper calendar. So I have like my calendar book that I look at for the month and the week. Yeah, as well.
Okay, I like that. Ladies, what's your typical day look like?
Well, for me, my mornings are pretty much time blocked as well. I help my son take my granddaughter to school, so I'm in the office by 8:30, and on the days that I don't have her, it just throws my whole day off. So I'm thankful that I'm able to help them that way. But I go in at 8:30, and that's my paperwork time, because most people have busy mornings as well. So I don't really like to call, prospect at that time. I prospect in the late afternoon, when people are coming home, and I think it's a little bit more relaxed at that time. So I'm in the office at 8:30, and, doing paperwork, planning my social media things. Yeah, and I go home maybe anytime between 2 and 6.
A little bit open in the afternoon. How far ahead do you plan your social media piece? Are you kind of thinking of it on the fly, or do you have a game plan for that?
Right now, I need to get more focused on having a plan. I do that social media, forgive me, I don't know the name.
Soci.
A social.
Yeah.
Soci, yeah,
that
the
one.
resource center.
Yes,
Right.
and it comes out once a week. I do check that. But I do post on my personal Facebook and Instagram that, I think those are a little bit more, people respond better to those.
Right.
They're more personal, I think I'm really big on being you and contacting the people the way that you would like to be contacted, because we kind of all gravitate to people like us. So, there's just different, ways to approach that, but yeah. Social media is a big part.
You make some time for that in your day. JoAnna, how about yourself? Waking up, helicopter lands, okay? What is your typical workday look like if everything goes perfectly for you?
Okay.
Yeah.
So my typical workday would pretty much go, I wake up, tend to my dog, of course, gotta let the dog out. Take care of the dog, and then I do immediately check emails. So I check my emails, I respond to what's most important. Sometimes I work from home for a little bit in the morning, whether that be sending out items that need to be signed or just following up on smaller tasks. Sometimes I make breakfast, sometimes I fast. Try to get to the office as early as possible. Once I get in, that's when, the real work starts. I follow up with past clients. I follow up with current clients. I schedule what needs to be done for the week. I either schedule my, showings, schedule my listing appointments, prep my listing contracts. Typically, I do have an appointment for the most part every day. So I go out for something, I go out and then I come back to the office. I'm always in and out.
Yeah.
But no, it's just always keeping busy. And I have several to-do lists. That's a big thing. I'm always working off my lists. And if I don't finish something, it goes to my list for the next day. And those lists just keep getting longer and longer.
Tell me more about those lists. Are those paper lists? Are they digital lists?
Both.
Both.
So both. I do have a digital list. I do keep it like in my notes on my iPhone.
Okay.
If I think of something real quick, if I think of like marketing or whatever it is, I'll jot down a note real quick. If I think of, hey, I need to follow up with this client or I should implement this in my business, I'll write that down. But then also when I go to the office, I work off of a to-do list. That way I'm able to check off the things that I do. And then of course I tend to what's most important.
I want to dig on that list a little bit. So you're tending to most important. When you look at your list, do you look at them and say, this can wait, I gotta do this now?
Yes.
And then reprioritize?
Yes, I'll put stars next to the most important thing.
Oh.
That way I focus.
Star sticker stars? And you get a star. And you get a star. All right, I like that. And then the list keeps building up,
Yes,
right? Because
it's never ending.
You're never done.
Yes.
Right? You're never done.
Yes.
I like that. So pretty full days, yeah? Lot waking up at 5:17. Why 5:17?
Seven's my favorite number, so my clock is always, no matter what time I'm waking up, it ends in a 7.
Okay, that's unique. I like it. All right. Hey, it works for you. It works for you. I like it. All right. So one of the things that I love about this top agent panel, we talked about new agent things, we talked about your daily schedule. The one thing that all of us need to do, new agents, veteran agents, top producing agents, we all need to prospect, right? We all need to prospect, and everybody does something different. Everybody does something different. In our office, we tell people, do what you're great at. Highlight your strengths. If you don't like door knocking, don't door knock. Figure out what works best for you. So you were telling me a little bit about your geographic farm and social media and calls in the afternoons. By the way, is it safe to say we're all calling in the afternoons?
Yes.
All of us?
Mhm.
I think that's kind of rare.
Afternoon, evenings. Oh, I call them
Right,
at
yeah,
6,
me
7
too.
o'clock.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Right.
That's when I have the best luck
Yep.
reaching people.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I stay home at the office till 9:30, 10.
yeah.
It just depends on the days, but most of the time I like to be home and call from home.
So what are you doing right now? Because I know you're a little bit unique. You've been in the business 31 years, Monica. Okay, you have a lot of relationships with a lot of past clients. So you're lucky that you've been here. Not lucky. You worked for it. A little bit of luck, but a lot of
Yeah.
hard work for sure. And what are you doing now to prospect and get business going? If you have nothing going on, what are your top 3 things? You're like, I got to get a deal. Let's do this.
I contact my past clients and I let them know, that I'm still in the business. I think one of the main things that I like to do is go down my phone, like, who do I need to call today? Let's see, I go A, B, C, and just kind of see if I've reached them in the last 6 months. And if I haven't, I'll text them or I'll call them. And most of the time, if it's during the day or, afternoon, if they don't answer, I always leave a message
Okay.
because you have to let them know, that you call. A lot of people say, don't leave a message. I disagree because you can just say, hey, I was thinking about you. I was driving by your house and I thought about you. I hope all is well.
But these are people that know you.
These are
They're
people
not
that know me.
horrible.
Right. No, this is people on my phone. Yeah.
No.
All right, so if
Um,
you're calling me right now and I don't pick up,
right.
what's the message you're gonna leave?
I'll say, hey, Vic, I was driving by downtown LA. I saw Perch and I thought of you guys, I hope all is well. Just call me if there's anything I can do for you, real estate related or not.
That's
Okay.
good.
Quick to the point.
That's good. Yeah.
Now, aren't you said you're dialing off your phone? Are you using the CRM to keep track of all these people? Because we got plenty of CRMs in the business. Are you using something or are we still going
Okay.
post-it notes?
You hit a very sore spot here. One of my biggest regrets in 30 years is not
Mhm.
having a CRM. So if I had one, imagine.
You have some.
Yeah, my CRM is my phone. I mean, it's probably one of the things that I would say, if you don't have one, get one and keep it and use it. I don't have it, but it's just my past business. I think it's how you treat people. If you treat people with integrity, honesty, and you look out after their needs and not yours, even if it means not listing when you're on a listing appointment, even if it means, that the best solution for them is to rent out the house and go rent somewhere else, suggest that because those people will appreciate it and they'll come back to you. Look out for their needs. So I'm more one-on-one person, I'm not there for a 10-minute listing agreement or listing appointment and leave.
Mhm.
That's not me. Just do you, but get a CRM. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Vic. So since we're talking about CRMs, I want to remind everybody, join Allie's class on Wednesday, Tech Wednesdays. She covers all these great tools, multiple CRMs. You guys have CRMs through your association, through your MLS. You have 2 through Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. Use something because it will help you stay on top of your past clients and sphere of influence. Ladies, same questions. Doesn't matter who goes first. If you didn't have a deal, you're like, oh my God, I need to pay my bills right now. I need to get a deal. What are the 2 or 3 things you're gonna do to make it happen this week?
Open house,
Open house.
advertise, contact your past clients, contact your sphere of influence. There's several things that you can do, but it's also staying consistent with those things, following up with those things, and actually turning those things into a positive deal.
You mentioned advertise. Okay, so open house, advertise, sphere of influence, past clients. What type of advertisement are we talking about here?
Free or paid,
Mhm.
because
Free or
they're
paid.
both out there.
Give me more details. What are the free ones? We all want to know the free ones, right? Josh is like, yeah, give me the free ones. I'm writing them down right now.
Widely available. Facebook is very free. You connect with the people that are in your community, the people that are close to you, your friends, your past clients. Add your past clients on Facebook, only if it's a successful transaction. clients on
Yeah.
Facebook after the transaction closes, wait for the transaction to close, then go add them. Because believe it or not, that's where referrals come from your past clients, people that actually know you. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Thanks for answering that because you're like advertising, like they're probably like, where?
Yeah.
Everywhere, so many different places.
Like penny saver?
There are things, there are places that I advertise. AV Core, the resource center has, or I think it's Bold Trial now. They have a lot of great advertising tools, especially if you get a new listing. I use that all the time.
Property boost?
Yes,
That's it,
correct,
right? Property
correct.
boost.
And Berkshire Hathaway does it for free for the first couple of days as well, which is a big benefit. So
Yeah.
plug into that, actually respond to it, and you'll get some clients from it.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's
Yeah,
good stuff.
absolutely.
So, past clients, sphere of influence, calls. Hey, Vic, I'm passing by Perch. Let's go get a drink. And then
Let's go get a
JoAnna's
drink.
like, I'm hosting an open. I'm calling my sphere of influence. I'm doing social media ads, things like that. So good. Erika, we need a deal. We need a deal this week. Gotta make something happen. What are the 2 or 3 things that you would do to make something happen for yourself in the business?
So just like the lady said, all of the above, but I would find an open, cold call around, like circle dial the open and door knock. And I door knock like a street above or below, because most likely the neighbors already know.
Mhm.
So I go around the neighborhood versus, if I have time, then I'll go to the street too, but.
That's like the mega open house method, right? Find an open house to do. Nice neighborhood, I'm sure,
I
right?
mean,
Not a
whatever
boarding
you can
Make
get.
sure that-
Well, yeah.
But then you're advertising that open house locally, doing phone calls, you're door knocking it. Okay, so and new agents can do that.
Yeah.
Right? Veteran agents can do that. Open houses are fantastic, I think, because they're like the retail store,
Mhm.
right? People they see your signs,
Yep.
they park their car, they walk inside and they know they're gonna talk to a real estate agent. So you're prepared for that, right?
Yeah.
Both you ladies are doing open houses. Are we practicing scripts and dialogues before? Are we warming up to have better conversations?
It's already in the back of my mind.
Oh.
I kind of just wing it.
Absolutely. When you do it long enough, it flows, right? Go ahead.
I'm very from the heart,
Mhm.
I don't do the scripts. Sorry out there, if you do. It works for some people. The beauty of this business is that everybody has their own style and you will attract people that like you.
Mhm.
There's enough business for everyone. You don't need to be competitive with other agents and, have little mini wars in neighborhoods. No need for that, because who's gonna list with her may not list with me. Who's gonna list with me may not list with her. So there's enough business for everybody. Do you be honest, integrity, because it'll follow you. 30 years later, it'll follow you.
You keep preaching integrity, and it does matter in this business.
Huge.
Absolutely.
I think we say that a lot because when you're in this business a long time, you see the same agents over and over again.
Yeah.
And if you're not dealing in the right manner, they're gonna know you and you're gonna know them, right?
We know who those are.
That matters. It does matter. Let's move on. I know that we're a little bit, we're gonna push for time. Okay, but we still have some more stuff here. All right, so let's move on to technology, right? So when we talked about lead gen, we got some insight here. By the way, if you're not contacting your sphere of influence and past clients, you're missing out. That's where it's at. Everybody said the same thing there. Let's talk about some new technology. Erika, what are you working on right now or working with that you're implementing in your business that's helping you set more appointments or opening up your time frame?
Well, I use ChatGPT like almost on a daily basis, probably, for anything from, helping me script a letter for an attorney to, helping me create a social media prompt,
Mhm.
something like that.
So a lot of chat.
A lot of ChatGPT, and I use Canva a lot too.
Canva's coming out with a new AI program as well, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna
it has
make
an
it like
AI.
really easy to create all kinds of stuff, apparently.
Yeah,
Have you thought about that yet?
not too much.
It's coming
Yeah.
though. I think it's gonna be one of the paid versions, like $10,
I'll
$20.
pay for it, and I have it. I just haven't played with it.
Not
too
yet.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So ChatGPT AI
Yeah.
and Canva for marketing. Are you using the Canva stuff for print materials, email, social media? What
All
are you
of the
doing?
above.
All of it,
Yeah.
just all of it.
Stories, posts, reel covers, flyers for open house, door knocker, so I usually do, like a market update.
Mhm.
And so we create it there, and then like the open house flyer on top or something.
What's you paying for Canva right now
I think it's like 150 for the year.
for the year? That's a pretty good investment.
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's really good. That's good. Yeah, I like that. All marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that. JoAnna, tech wise, what are you implementing in your business right now? Something new that's setting more appointments for you or opening up your schedule a little bit more?
I would actually say the same thing as Erica. I do use ChatGPT a lot. It's very helpful in the business, helps you reword things. It helps you make things flow better. It helps you prep contracts or letters for attorneys, whatever it is. So ChatGPT is definitely very beneficial in the business. If you're not using it, you should. And same thing as well, Canva. Canva is also a great tool, but I noticed there's a lot of new there's a lot of services, there's a lot of systems, online systems paid that you can use to automate your business that will help you in your business. And that's where I think the new wave is coming on. It's out there, but a lot of people don't necessarily know about it and use it, myself included. And that's why I'm saying it to, share and spread the word that way for those that are interested, jump on, try to figure it out.
Both mentioned ChatGPT. Free version or the paid version?
I'm still using the free version.
Free version.
Me too. I have the free version right now and
It's fine.
There's a paid version, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably should get the paid one at some point.
Well, I mean, look, you
I
gotta
like
use.
$3.99.
I love free 99. I have a 5-finger discount. I'm
It works.
all about, I mean, no, not, But yeah, there is a paid version. I think the difference is the imaging
Yeah.
just
and
the images.
yeah, the
yeah.
imaging and video content that it can create now. But it's not, I think it's like $160 a year.
Insane.
It's not that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if I may say something, I think I've been it with Century 21, Coldwell Banker, and Berkshire.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm biased, but taking advantage of Allie, sorry, Allie, and what she provides, and all of the classes that we offer, in this company, is you have to do it. If you're not going to the classes, if you're not paying attention to what's available for us, you're missing out and you're spending probably money that you shouldn't. There's so many automated systems, automatic emails that you can send. I want to blame because I'm not using, what is that?
Cold trial.
Cold trial. I will. Okay, you guys are my accountability partners. I'll start doing it and you'll see. Hopefully my numbers are too.
Now we're almost done. Real quick before we wrap up, and then maybe we can get some questions if we have time. Okay. Last year was one of the toughest years in real estate sales. If you go back to 22, I want to say 2023. If you go back to 2003, okay, about 22 years back, to find a marketplace where you had as low of a sales transaction numbers. Kind of a market slump for some people, right? How do you stay motivated when things get tough?
Education.
Education.
Educate yourself, put yourself out there, talk with other agents, talk with other lenders. You're going to learn something from someone. Just like what was previously said. Everyone kind of does the same thing, but you're going to do it differently. So, you can pick up off of what somebody says, but you're going to implement it your way, the way that you do things.
Yeah. So for me, like the journaling in the morning, the affirmations, the gratitude, working out really helps me, especially when I have like a really tough, I know we're talking about tough markets, but whether it's that or like a tough transaction where it's really stressful, I will just, because I work from home primarily. So I just put on my walking shoes and I'll go for like a 20-minute walk around the block. And that really helps me. Our accountability group really helps me because our agents, whoever's in our accountability group, we're sharing, oh, I got a deal. Oh, I got an appointment, so that motivates me because I don't want somebody else to beat me. So, seeing what my other one is on my hot sheet in the MLS, right? And for my area where I live in, I always look at active pending solds. And I always look to see who just sold, who were the buyer's agents, right? I'm kind of nosy that way, but I also just want to know what's happening, obviously, in my marketplace. But, when I see my friends, I'm like, oh, I get very excited for them. But then when I see another agent that maybe is not on my friendly list, I'm like, oh, they just like, I need to get a sale, so.
There's that competitive edge that comes out, all right? You guys see that? She's like, I don't want to lose, right? I think a lot of us in this business have that competitive edge, right? We didn't get in this business to lose, did we? You want to go on an appointment to lose a listing? You want to go win it? You want to write an offer to lose it? No, you want to write the offer to win it, okay?
One last thing, sorry. So I always attend Summit in August, and that always helps re-motivate me because it's been like a long spring, summer. We're all exhausted from the market. And, just seeing the new tech, seeing my friends, like that really helps me get excited and get ready to gear up for next year.
Yeah,
So,
I like that. I like that. Monica, real quick, how do you stay motivated during the sales slump? How do you keep pushing?
Poverty motivates me, or the fear of poverty motivates me.
Poverty motivates you.
Yes.
Yeah, got you.
The fear of poverty. I think, realistically, if you are in a situation where, funds are low and you just need to get something today, pick up your phone, start dialing the people in your phone and let them know that you're in the business. But don't talk business only. Find out how their life is, what's going on in their lives. And then just kind of at the end, oh, don't forget, I'm in real estate. If you hear anything, and circle prospect. Even if this property that's sold isn't yours, door knock and tell everybody and give them your card. Just let everybody know that you're in the business.
Very good. I like that. We have time for some Q&A or
Go ahead.
Yeah. Ladies and gents in the audience here, we're gonna cater to you first because you drove into the office. So you guys have any questions or comments for our panelists today?
Hi, I'm Josh from the Hathaway office. It's good to see everybody up here. Usually at these panels, we hear a lot about your strengths and what's going well. I'm curious to know, is there anything that you struggle with in your business? And if so, how do you overcome it?
It's a good one.
Struggle with
CRM.
CRM.
There it is.
CRM and sometimes consistency, because I have so much going on in my private life, helping and moving people, and just that I sometimes have to remember to focus on my business and not focus on other people's needs. But at the same time, I really think that the cheapest way to make a sale is your phone. And I keep on saying that. Call the people on your phone. They already know you. They hopefully like you, and they should trust you. But so if you're feeling a little bit down, like, okay, I don't know what a short sale is, and REOs are popping up here and there. I don't know anything on how to do bank-owned properties. Okay, then find out. Go to seminars. Read. Educate yourself. That'll motivate you, I think. It motivates me.
We gotta get you educated on a CRM, my friend. You gotta get you there.
All
How about
right.
you ladies?
So prospecting, sometimes, I struggle with that. I don't always want to have to do it. It's, can be daunting to pick up that phone some days, especially if you've had like a bad morning or whatnot, or maybe I just don't want to do the door knocking that day. Maybe it's 90 degrees. And so maybe, I may switch it, but yeah, sometimes the prospecting.
So you mean even after 20 years in the business, you're still like, man, I gotta pick up my phone today. But you do it anyways.
Yeah.
JoAnna.
I would say time management. Time management is a big one, because your life can go in so many different directions. You can focus so much on one thing or another. But it's really about finding tools and systems to help make your business easier. That way you can be more productive as a person. That would be my big one.
Got it. Very good. Any other questions from our audience here in the Whittier branch? Mike?
So do you focus in on one thing? Do you hone in on one thing? Or do you at your stage now continue to, because of the market, do you continue to expand and explore and experiment?
Do you mean with lead generation or marketing or?
Anything? Anything from lead generation to,
I would say yes. Always don't put all your eggs in one basket. Always have multiple sources. Always be doing multiple different things, because where something is working, something is going to be slacking, and vice versa. So always try to have multiple different things, and always switch it up. Don't continue those same things that same way. Switch it up just a little bit, just to see what different results you'll get from it.
Yeah, same for me, diversification. So always trying new things. And, I do assess what worked at the end of the year, what worked, what didn't work. Do we continue doing this? Do we pivot and change it? But yeah, always, I think especially in this industry, it's an industry that's evolving very rapidly and all the time. So staying up to date with the new technology or, new ways of doing business is important. At the end of the day, it's a relationship business. So however you create those relationships, that's your decision. But I think it's important to always be evolving, or you're going to be dissolving.
There's a quote right there. You're gonna be evolving or else you're dissolving. I like that. Yes.
I would say, focus on the people that make you feel comfortable, the neighborhoods that you feel comfortable. If you live in, a $700,000 neighborhood and you're afraid to list $1 million, push yourself a little bit. Go a little bit higher. And, if you're uncomfortable at the 2 million level, educate yourself to get there. Another thing too is, if you know that most of your clients are millennials, do what they do.
Mhm.
If they're, baby boomers, give them the paper flyer, just do what they do. Put yourself in the position of your client. What would they need? What do they need to do? What do they need to know? And provide it.